Good afternoon. How you doing? Welcome to the D2 National Championship postgame press conference featuring the Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs. We'll hear an opening statement from Coach and follow up with questions from the student athletes. The student athletes will then be dismissed and we'll open up for questions for Coach.
Did you say opening statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I can't hear sometimes. Like I just told them in the locker room, it's really, really difficult for me to put into words what this season has been like and how amazing this team is. Like, you can't even describe it because they're phenomenal people. They work incredibly hard, and as you saw tonight, they never give up. You know, I think when there was 4 seconds left was the first time that I really saw them hang their shoulders, and that is absolutely incredible. And that's what happens when you have two leaders like Mason and Brooke. What they've meant to me personally, I'm speechless. I don't know that I've ever been more proud of two people for what their 5 years looked like at UMD and what, I was telling what the world has gone through COVID, and, everybody was affected by that. I'm not making light of that, but when I think there were a lot of teams in the country that went into it and they came out weaker. We went into that, we went through our stuff, we were up and down, as everybody was, but we came out stronger, and that's why I think we had such an incredible year. They're relentless, resilient, just incredible, incredible humans. So it has been a blast. Like I told them, this is one of those years, like, coaches get tired, and sometimes they're ready to have a week off, and this is one of those times when I'm tired. I think their bodies, I can't imagine. They're poor little girls, like, not like your little girls, but like I look at what they go through and how much they fight, and they're flying all over the place, and they just get up and they keep going. But I don't remember what I was saying. And so I hit a point where, like, I could have gone on for months and more months of this season because it has been fun, and they make it so enjoyable for me. It's ridiculous. You have to say congratulations to Ashland. They are incredibly well coached, and I told that to her in the hotel lobby last night. If you make one mistake, they make you pay. And defensively, they work just as hard as we do. And I don't say that about many people. And I thought tonight in the first half, we talked about it a little bit with Ashland. You can't commit to one thing. You have to be really active, and you have to make them uncomfortable. And I don't know that we did that enough defensively. You saw they turned it up, and we did some really good things in the second half to make an incredible run back at them to give us, at least some hope there at the end that we could make a comeback and win. But the offensive efficiency is just absolutely incredible with them. So that's a huge congratulations to their team, their staff. This is my first time meeting their staff, and they're incredible people. So have to say congratulations. Wish that we would have came out with a W, obviously, but the amount of pride and that I have in these people is going to make this just a really fun season to remember. I mean, people are going to be talking about what you guys did this year for a long time, and I'm almost done talking, I promise. But the last thing that I'd say, like, I do feel like we've been watching women's basketball continue to grow and get better, and this event for our team was incredible. It was really, really well run. We were fangirling over some of the Division I players that we saw, and coaches for me. Dawn Staley, got to give her a shout out. But it was a wonderful experience, and so I think when we reflect on, like, Title IX and we talk about how women's basketball continues to progress, I told these young women, we grew up in a little bit of a hockey town, and I think they made people excited about women's basketball, and I think they're going to help our community jump in that area as well. So, I mean, congratulations, you two, on an awesome career. Sorry, I'm done talking now. I could go on forever, but I'm so proud of them. I don't have the right words, but two of the most amazing people I've ever been around in my life, and they're okay at basketball too.
At this time, we're going to open it up for questions for the student athletes. I also want to note that the locker room is open and will close at 5:22 p.m. Ladies to your left.
Howard Magdal at the Next. Congratulations on a terrific season. I have one for each of you, if I could. Brooke, just to start with, obviously not the outcome you wanted today, but can you reflect on just the run that you have had, and it's just this unprecedented run here in the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, we knew that coming in, Ashland's a really, really tough team. Obviously, they finished undefeated, which is incredible. And again, they're really well coached and they have a lot of different weapons. And so we kind of knew that we had to play our best game, and we didn't do that for 3 quarters. You saw that in the 4th quarter, but we were always just trying to play catch up. So yeah, it definitely doesn't feel good to, get this far and come up short. But like every single time that I try to be sad about the game, I'm always like, no, like I just need to keep my head up because of just the season that we've had. Like this was supposed to be a rebuild year, and that's what people were saying about us during the preseason, and we never ever believed that. And we just kind of put our heads down and worked. We love being the underdogs, and so yeah, I don't think I'm going to be sad about the game or the experience that we've had. I'm just sad that it's over. Sad that I'm never going to put on a Bulldogs jersey again. Just this season my life is done. So that's probably the hardest part. But looking back, I'm going to probably remember this year more than anything. Just with everyone, 1 through 16, like our coaches, our trainers, everyone, it's just been amazing. Yeah. Sorry.
And Mason, Coach talked a little bit about the Minnesota legacy of this, but playing for a Minnesota coach, one of 11 players from the state, can you just talk about how you think this resonates within a state where there's so much of a rich history of women's basketball, and how much you think Minnesota itself helped create your team to where it was today?
Yeah, I think that Minnesota has always had a pretty good history of basketball, and you've seen that in the past few years. We've had a lot of big-time players playing in a lot of big-time games coming from Minnesota, and I just know that the whole state was behind us. I mean, Lindsay Whalen tweeted Coach today and said good luck, and
Mason had to help me respond.
yeah, I had to respond to her, but yeah, I think just and all the schools and all the AAU programs, like everyone was behind us, and we all played for different programs and different high school teams, but we knew when we came to Duluth that we were going to play together, and we got that great opportunity to play in Minnesota in some big arenas and big stages. And yeah, basketball in Minnesota is awesome, and there's so much support even for the women. I don't think it is like that in every other state and every other place. So yeah, Minnesota really has a very, very good state to be a part of, and I'm glad we could just make a little mark on that in our time at Duluth.
Question to our right.
Corey Hogue, Dave Campbell's Texas Basketball. For both of you, was there any adjustment for you personally or as a team playing inside an arena this large? Don't know how much experience you guys have had in that in the past.
Yeah, I would say just especially on offense, when we were going to call a play, we needed to use hand signals or something that we could do that way, communicate that way, because we weren't able to hear each other as much. So that was a little bit of an adjustment that we made. And then just talking on defense, we had to do that a little bit more because of the size of the arena. I know in St. Joseph, the arena was nice, but not quite as big as this one. So it was a little bit of adjustment on both ends of the floor, I thought.
Yeah, I think that was really the only adjustment. People say the depth perception behind the basket or whatever, but you just have to get into the hole. We didn't do that a lot today, but and I don't think it was because of the arena. I think it was just because of Ashland's pressure and just us not being in our flow. So I'll credit that, but that was a great arena to play in. I mean, the floor is unbelievable. The NCAA has really done a really great job here, and it's just great that we were playing on the same floor that the D1 teams were too, in just a huge stage, and being able to be there last night and just having a sold out crowd for the South Carolina-Iowa game, and then being able to actually go down and play today was an absolute pleasure. So that was, pretty good highlight.
We'll take another question to our right.
Brandon Veal, Duluth News Tribune. For Brooke, How did today compare among the most physical games that you've seen this season on the inside? They had a lot of folks to throw at you. You had to do a lot of throwing back. How did that feel? How was it trying to maneuver down there?
Yeah, I didn't think that I had the best mindset. I knew that I was going to be physical, and I kind of let it get to me. Obviously, I picked up those 3 quick fouls, so I wasn't able to give that same physicality back on defense. But I mean, I should have been expecting that. I should have gotten my head right, and probably just more expecting that instead of reacting to it. I felt like I could have done a better job at that.
We have a question on our far back row to the right.
Dylan Carr with Ashland Source. What made Ashland kind of a difficult team to defend in the half court?
Yeah, like Coach had mentioned before, like if we made a mistake, they were capitalizing on it, and we were a little bit undersized at the 4 position every once in a while, so when they were getting the ball inside, then we had to dig down a little bit or turn away from their shooters, and they're so efficient that when we dug a little bit too hard or went a little bit further at their posts, and they were making threes on the outside. So I think that, yeah, they just capitalized on every single mistake that we made, and they have such good post presence, and then they capitalize it with the shooters on the outside. So I think that just their all-around game was a little bit too much for us today.
Any additional questions for the student athletes? To our left.
Brooke, we were Kathleen Geyer with the Next. We were told right before we walked in here that you broke the tournament scoring record. What does this tournament run mean to you? And what do you think was working so well for you in the last several games?
Man, that's a good question. I think it was just our team. Like, we were all playing at the best, at the peak of our, I think, careers. I think 1 through 16, I mean, we had so much energy, even from the bench. And I just felt like we were just gelling the whole time. And, you know, sometimes that was me and my teammates being able to get me the ball in really, really great situations down low or even on the perimeter too, and Coach just setting up really good spacing as well. And so, and I think it's because of her right here too. I mean, she just willed us to win a lot of times, and she was able to just be like, calm us down, get us going, even when we thought that we were kind of counted out too. So, yeah, that's great. I definitely wish that we could have ended on a W2 to kind of cap that off, but still, our NCAA run was something that I'll always remember, and it's not even really the games. It's going to be like the storm, like our student section storming our regional game. Like, that's what I'm going to remember. I don't think I'm going to remember this, you know, scoring title or whatever, but it's just the run that we had and this history that we made and the impact that we made on everyone that was kind of supporting us too.
Any additional questions for the student athletes? Seeing none, thank you, ladies. Thank you. At this time, we'll open up for questions for Coach. Coach, we have a question on our left-hand side.
I'm Andy. Howard Mandel at the Next. Congratulations on a great season.
Thank you.
I'm hoping you can reflect a little for me on your Minnesota-specific journey to come from playing on the floor that Peps Newman played on, to be able to come through, to play, to coach, to now kind of etch your name in Minnesota basketball history, a place where Lindsey Whalen came from, where the Minnesota Lynx have had their success. Just take me through kind of what you think Minnesota has done to kind of make you where you are today.
You did your research. You brought up Peps Newman. Okay, so Peps Newman's from we went to the same school, and she was on what was the team she was on? She played it's like a Harlem Globetrotter type of thing. What was it?
The Arkansas Gems.
Yeah, the Arkansas Gems. So she is fun. Like, she's got a great personality. She was, I don't know how old she was. She would still come back for alumni games and run up and down the floor.
She doesn't now. She's 78.
She's still playing. Of course she is. Yep. That does not surprise me. You got to look for Peps at a go for basketball game. She's our hometown hero. But my journey in Minnesota has been incredible. It started at a young age for me. at Eden Valley, I had some really good role models that treated me so well, and they got me really excited to play basketball, and I actually just got a chance to tell that one of my biggest inspirations in my hometown, I got to tell her daughter that 2 summers ago, how impactful she was in my life. And it's been a journey. Honestly, I didn't even, when I was little, I didn't want to play basketball. My parents made me. When I was graduating from college, I didn't want to coach. And then I got a job offer. And I don't know why, but this sport has given me so much joy. It's allowed me to meet so many people. And when I was fangirling when Lindsay Whalen liked a tweet and then tweeted at us because what she's meant to basketball in our country and to Minnesota, it's incredible. I have to give her a shout out. My cousin's daughter was diagnosed, this is a long time ago, she's doing really well, but she was diagnosed with liver cancer. And Lindsay Whalen sent her stuff because she found out she was a basketball fan, and I think it's not necessarily even the basketball that has been the most impactful. It's the inspiration that you get from the game and from those individuals that has impacted my life the most throughout my entire career, and including these two sitting up here in my team. I was telling them I was walking around the last 3 weeks and I just see them and I just start crying, because they've inspired me. I've learned so much from them. Yeah, it's been a really cool journey. Yeah.
Coach to our left, the third row.
Neil Viersba, Fox 21. Mandy, talk about the support from the alumni. I understand there's a lot of people in town, even from back to your Concordia days. But just how much did the Bulldog alumni, play a role in getting to the team where they are now?
Our alumni are amazing. And whether that's the ones that I've coached or the ones before I got there, Karen Strummy really helped me connect with a lot of her people early. And so I was thrown into that. And I've got a group of, I'm not going to give their age. I don't think they'd be mad at me, but they've asked to be involved in mentoring and involved in having people to rely on and to connect with, and when they're searching for jobs or internships or when they need advice. So that started right away when I got here. And I've been blessed to coach just the most incredible people in the entire world. I mean, we've had they were driving around in a car yelling at our bus today when we were driving around, and they come back to games and they're texting me and they make me laugh, and it's really easy to rip on me, but they go at me sometimes, and that relationship has been unbelievable for me. But the impact that it has on our players with them always being around has given them so much pride in UMD.
We have another question to our left, that same row.
Alicia Tipke, WDIO. I just wanted to touch on a little bit more. You mentioned the Title IX and the celebration. I know you guys got to go see some of the things. What has it felt like for you to be a part of this celebration, to be on the March Madness stage, and to have all of these women in the locker room with you, and to just be seen in this year, 50th year?
I don't even know how to explain it. So I'm past the point where I didn't have to fight for my opportunities to be involved in athletics as a female. And so I've been really trying to reflect on that and think about the people before me and ask some questions to a few people that I know about their process, et cetera. But to see my players geeking out in that display, I was crying there too. Like every time I look at them, I'm just so proud of it because they were so happy. But they're pointing at pictures in the wall, and they were watching the videos, and they were running up to the screens to take pictures. And that display was really cool. I don't know if people can still see it, but if you haven't seen it, get out there. I don't know. I get to do this, and I get to be around so many amazing people because of Title IX. And I'm really thankful that so many people put in the work for me, so I had a nice, easy path to enjoyment in life. So thank you to all of you who've done something to make it so awesome for us.
Coach, we're taking another question on our right-hand side, the back corner.
Dylan Carr with Ashland Source. Brooke got in a little bit of foul trouble in the first half. How did her foul trouble impact your team in the first half?
I thought today, our ball movement wasn't very good in general. And so then when she got into that early foul trouble, I think our ball movement maybe even got a little bit worse, which isn't always a thing because we spend so much time looking for. But then we got nervous and we were trying to take quick shots. Brooke, she's the best player in the country. And I started saying that a couple years ago, that she might be the best player in the country. And when somebody that is that impactful and your team is used to relying on her for 4 quarters gets her third foul because her dumb coach put her back in too early, and there was miscommunication on a set play, and she wasn't supposed to be screening, but she didn't hear the set. It's hard. It's hard. Our players responded well, and they still fought. You're going to get a ton of fighting out of them, but defensively inside, we didn't have the physicality when she was out to really do what we needed to be successful.
Corey Hogue, Dave Campbell's Texas basketball coach. What were the challenges and advantages of having 10 days between the semifinals and the finals?
I think it's something that our team has gotten used to, because there's about a 10-day period between the NSIC tournament and the regional tournament, and so it wasn't new to us. The challenge for me is trying to figure out how much do I beat them up and make them practice hard, just so that we can keep that energy up. But with this group, they're so mature that I knew that they were going to get here and they were going to be ready, and there was nothing that I could do or nothing that I couldn't do that wasn't going to make they were going to be mentally ready to go. So it's hard because you want to just keep playing, but it's also good to rest their bodies a little bit too. It's all over the place.
Brendan Veal, Duluth News Tribune. What is it about Annie Roshak that makes her such a tough player and made her such a tough player to contain for your team today?
There's so many parts to that question, because she's really talented. She can really score inside, but what her teammates around her do make her really good, because we had a bunch of different things that we could potentially go into, and I think maybe that made us a little bit passive to start the game. But if you double, she kicks it to the right person. If you dig, she's patient and she'll kick it. If you sit low side, she's going to bury you and go middle. If you sit high side, she's going to seal for lobs, or they skip it to their 3-point shooters. And so just the things that they do, their coaching staff is really good. And so and those players almost always make the right read. And so not only does her talent make her difficult to guard, but the way that her teammates move the basketball and make reads makes it really, really difficult. They do a really good job. They pass better than most teams that we play against.
Any additional questions for Coach? This will be the last question.
How much in the fourth quarter did you allow your mind to go back to the Missouri Southern game, if at all? The way that you climb back from high teens, low teens, 9, 8, 7. How much did you allow yourself to compare those two games?
I don't think I was comparing them, but it gave me confidence, because I knew that they weren't going to give up and they were going to fight until that buzzer rang. And so I think our players had confidence. And the only time that it kind of came up was when I think Ryan, my assistant, said something in one of the timeouts that we've been here before, we've done this before. But my brain didn't go there. I felt like we could do it.
Thank you for your time today, Coach.
Thank you.